Martin Luther King said, "Our goal is to create a beloved community. And to do this, we need to make qualitative change in our souls and quantitative change in our lives." 57 years later, here we are, wondering maybe what this would look like. So I want to ask you for a minute to imagine looking into a kaleidoscope, that kid's toy. And what would it look like? Looking into that, you see a beautiful color, a dance of color and light with shapes interacting with one another, all intrinsically linked together, all creating a beautiful image right before your eyes. But, like anything, outside forces can change that image. Just a little turn, a little momentum, and that image starts to distort. It falls out of relationship. All those little pieces fall out of relationship with each other. But as it happens, things continue, and that image reforms into something that looks similar, but something that is forever changed. So my question today is, what if that kaleidoscope image, what if that idea of the kaleidoscope became our metaphor for a community? A community that is spiritually alive, radically inclusive, and justice-centered. What if that was the model that we used in post-secondary education and in student affairs, academic affairs, in creating a live learning community that teaches students how to be part of a community? And so a kaleidoscope community, what does that mean? Spiritually alive. Now, this is not necessarily religious, but a spiritually alive community understands that a person is more than just a body. It is that inherent link between the mind, the body, and the spirit. It is that understanding that we are all connected to one another, to the natural world, and to something bigger than ourselves. A radically inclusive community is one that welcomes everyone. It doesn't ask them to assimilate to the norms of the community. It celebrates their authentic selves and creates something magical by that kaleidoscope, all of those colors working together. Justice-centered community is one that acknowledges that privilege and power exists just because of an identity that someone else holds, or it doesn't exist because of an identity someone holds. It is the idea that when we fall out of right relationship with one another, that we have the opportunity to restore it through various practices, through various ways. It talks about punitive actions with purpose, things that we do to restore the community once a harm has been created. This community, this idea of a kaleidoscope community then creates a whole slew of learning outcomes. It creates people who are empathetic, critical thinkers. It creates ethical development, and so on and so on. It creates a community that is based on justice, it is based on inclusion, and it is based on knowing that we are all connected to each other. So if Martin Luther King talks about that beloved community, talks about how we need to make that change, what does that mean for us in post-secondary education? What does it look like? Because our great task is that we meet students at the crossroads of who they are and who they are becoming. Our great task is to meet them there at that intersection and to invite them into a brave space, knowing that we all come with our biases and our baggage, our traumas, our positive experiences. It is that brave space. It's that brave space acknowledging that the world is messy, but we're in it together. It's that idea that we all have part of it. And for students, our job when they come into this space, come into brave space, is to create a world where they can block out the noise of the outside world, where they can figure out who they are and who they are becoming. It's where they can grow from a certain place, and we are along to help them. In 1953, Sir Edmund Hillary reached the summit of Mount Everest. He had a guide, Tenzing Norgay, who is part of the ethnic Sherpas of Nepal. And I think for us in post-secondary education, for us working with students, that is the true story that we should focus on. Because the ethnic Sherpas of Nepal have made a life out of guiding people up a mountain. And they don't just lead them up the mountain. They let the traveler forge their own paths. They are there to carry the weight sometimes. They are there to prepare the maps, to create the safety, to make sure that the ropes and everything that the traveler needs are there so that the traveler, the person who is climbing the mountain, can do it successfully. So our job in this time and in this place is to create those roadmaps, to create those pathways that we look forward to. It's that idea that we are all part and we are all guides, guiding students, guiding one another, guiding everyone as part of the Kaleidoscope community. Thank you.